Right, it is the season of politics and politricks, but just who is fooling who? These are the questions that we'll be dissecting right here on the program. Politics of deceit and conmanship. This seems to be the order of the day. And of course, this is if statements by the politicians are anything to go by. Who will be outwitted in the end, or who will outwit the rest? And of course, also in politics, they say that there are no permanent enemies. And which politician do you think will be pulling a fast one or a major one come 2022? I'd like you to talk to us and tell us your thoughts on this. We understand that former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka has made it crystal clear that the Wiper Party will never associate itself with the Wheelbarrow Party. But the big question is, will he stick to his statement come 22 or even towards the electioneering period? The cycle we continue to see of coalitions, new parties and political formations every electioneering period. These are the questions that Kenyans are asking themselves. Has the politics of the day been commercialized, or has it been that way for far too long? Tonight on the program, we are talking about political Ponzi schemes. I would love you to talk to us tonight because this show is coming to you live for the very first time. We told ourselves curfew for who? Of course, we hope this statement will not be biting us at the end of this particular program later on. Of course, the next 1 hour or so will be right here on the program. I'll be bringing our panelists on the program, but we love what you've been talking to us on our social media platforms. The hashtag to use, as always, is hashtag #TheBottomLineKE. Let's take a look at some of those particular tweets that have been coming in thick and fast. We have seen them coming in throughout the day, and you've been tweeting us, and we'll be able to look at them in the course of the program. All you need to do is tweet directly at Eugene Anangwe, or you can also tweet us at LookUpTV. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. The Bottom Line KE starts right now.
Haiwezi kuwa na uhusiano na kitu inaitwa wheelbarrow. Haiwezi. Because we are guided by principles of good leadership and transparency. Fight against corruption. I'm quite sure Mheshimiwa Makau, because nimemuuliza Mheshimiwa, hii maneno aliongea, na kama uliongea ulipatiwa idhini na nani? Because chama kina mpangilio wake. Akaniambia yeye alikuwa amegadhabishwa na ndugu zetu wa ODM kwa sababu pia wamechukua pesa nitaandeli na akibwana wakazemba na si.
In a different way. This strategy that we tried somehow did not take us to Canaan. Is there a problem in us seeking a new strategy? No problem at all. By the mere definition of politics, politics is the art of the possible. Yeah. What they are doing is nothing wrong. It is that season of engaging, opening yourself for engagement, and looking for suitable suitors who can advance your individual goal of power acquisition. Nothing wrong as it is.
Right. I want us to be very clear, and I'm hoping that, the statements that we making here are being heard out there loud and clear, and I'm hoping that the technical team is with me on this particular conversation. The show has already started, and of course Kioko has made his statement on what we've been able to see so far. We have bites that we'll be playing. I'm told we have one that has already aired out there of former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, who's been speaking about how his party can never associate itself with the wheelbarrow party. And he insists that the wheelbarrow party, the bottom-up economics that they speak about, is the return of Harambes and the return of handouts. Gloria, you are very close to this man that they call the wheelbarrow party owner.
Chief Hustler.
Chief Hustler himself. Your thoughts about Kalonzo Musyoka?
You know, Kalonzo is a politician who knows how to survive the wave.
Yeah.
And I wasn't surprised by his utterances, because at the end of the day, we still have Mount Kenya very confused. We still have the Luhya nation trying to find that elusive uniting factor. We still have Luo Nyanza, wondering what's going to happen to ODM and the dynamics. So there's no solid ground according to these people on that space. So for him, this is what he does. Until he has understood that there is solid ground, until it is clear that it is the wheelbarrow against something here, then he will make his position. But before that, Kalonzo has always said never say never. It's like we are never going to do this, we are never, and then he comes, unajua sasa pale tumefika, tunataka kuangalia. It's his type of politics. But what I would say is he might not be keen on associating the Wiper party with the wheelbarrow party, but I can tell you this. There's about to be a stampede. The stampede is not necessarily to UDA, but the stampede is to that hustler nation ideology. So you might say, UDA is not my political party. Personally, I'm not a member of UDA, but I can tell you, I subscribe to the hustler nation approach, the ideology, the idea of actually building our economy by focusing on the cottage industries, bottom-up approach. So, and that's why it's very, William Ruto is also very careful not to push out other political parties. That's why he says, kuna chama nyingi zenye zitakuja, and join us. We have the PDPs in Kisii, we have the PEPs, the ones in
when he says
Kenya.
kuna chama nyingi zitakuja to join us, to join him where? Because he has not formally left the Jubilee party, which actually took him to where he is today.
Let me remind Kenyans that the architect of Jubilee, the coalition that formed Jubilee, the party, is William Ruto. So he knows what he's doing. You understand? He had talks with all these political parties, 11 of them, and convinced them, including his own political party, to fold and go and form what they wanted to call a national approach of political parties. So when you see him running around talking about chairman, UDA, we have PEP and PDP and all of these things, it's because there is a process that eventually you will finally see that it will unfold into this grand, big, let me say, the tsunami that they keep threatening us with. A tsunami is coming. That tsunami is what the Hustler Nation movement is going to form into. So therefore, at this moment, we are okay, understanding that people are not necessarily thinking that UDA will be the party. We are okay with that. But what they cannot fight is the Hustler Nation movement.
All right, Michael, you've been sitting calmly, cool and collected, listening to the two. And of course, just speaking from what Gloria has said, that the architect of the Jubilee Party and what formed the Jubilee Party is actually William Ruto himself. For someone who actually feels they also played a key role in this, and they hear such a statement, do you think they will have kind words for Gloria tonight?
I think Gloria amazes me because she's also putting me into a position of confusion. When she says, I'm not a member of UDA,
them all.
of UDA, but we.
Yes.
Her statement is about we,
Yes.
Meaning she is part of UDA. So being a member or not, it doesn't matter. The chip. The fundamental question that everybody is asking today is, how is this collusion? How is this amalgamation of parties? And how is this, grouping of the parties going to help the individual leaders of these parties? It's very correct. when she says that Ruto was actually one of the mastermind of the Jubilee Party.
She did say one of. She said the.
He's
I
the
don't
architect.
think he's the architect.
He's the architect.
I think he was just part of the team that was there. I know the likes of Sakaja played a greater role in making sure that this was brought up, together, because Sakaja is one bright individual, and that's why they actually proposed his name to be the chairman of Jubilee Party. They wouldn't just have done that if he did not play some bigger role there. But I'm reminded of the late Kalembe Dile, who cried until he went to the grave, folded his party and joined Jubilee with a great promise, and never happened. I'm reminded of the Madimoni of our friend Musalia Mudavadi, that everything was going for him, and everybody knew that he was going to run for presidency until people saw demon at one point, and then he was left out there. And I'm reminded of so many other people that have joined coalition and party amalgamation and have been promised great things. I'm reminded of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga when they worked together with the former president, Mwai Kibaki, and what they promised each other never took place. Eugene, the problem with this country is that people are good in the podium, but when it comes to integrity issue and implementing to the letter, we have a problem. We have a problem of politicians being trusted on what they say in the podium and what they say in their closet. Unfortunately, this is a country where I can agree and say, make sure that kill all the parties. You're part of this program, and the way they are trying to preach it in the BBI. But I tell you, as soon as that is done, some people will be crying in the toilet because they will not be on that table. They will have already been kicked out before they arrived there. My example is, I've never talked about this, but I was a deputy governor designate of Cyprian Awiti until we won the nomination and my name taken to IPC. But as soon as we won that nomination, we were celebrating, and then the celebration was over. Simply because some people had to remove that name and replace it with another one. This is the country where people are bringing all these parties together and saying, oh, let's unite and talk as a community. Each and every one of them has an interest, not the interest of the places they come from, not the interest of their constituents, but their stomach interest, unfortunately. And that is what is killing this country. Everybody that, and you hear the stories of Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. One day he's saying, I can never support Raila Amolo Odinga because I think this is a stand for me. Another day he's saying, I cannot work with the UDA. Who does he want to work with? Yet when Gilu was telling him that none of you here can make it on your own, he said, yes, indeed, none of us can make it on his own. So you can see the confusion that everybody is going through. And I agree with what Kyoko was talking about. These people want a space, but they do not want a space that is going to lose. So they're waiting for the moment to strike when they know that it is the right time, and this is the guy that seemed to be like the person being proposed by the state and the deep state, and most likely he'll get it regardless of whether he wins or not, because that has happened in this country.
Right. But maybe I can chime in a little bit about this Kalonzo thing and how it's being portrayed even here in this session.
Yes.
Kalonzo is very clear in his mind that the one person he's not going to work with is UDA. He has no problem working with Charity Ngilu. He has no problem working with Raila Odinga. He has no problem working with Musalia Mudavadi. The only person, when push comes to shove, Kalonzo has laid down the grant. He said, of all the things in this country, you can call me watermelon, you can call me whatever you want to call me, Gloria. But the truth of the matter is the politics as advanced by William Ruto of Wilbernomics do not make sense to him. And he is willing to go the extra mile. And today, people are ripening up their backbone. Kalonzo is telling the Kamba nation, guys, I am ready, I can lead this country. Musalia Mudavadi is talking to the Luya nation and is priming them up and telling them, guys, I can lead this country. But in the process of getting this, we as like-minded people, because don't lose that concept of the like-minded. We who are in NASA in 2017, even though we lost because of a certain part of a country that were united against us. But today we know, allow me to finish this now. Today we know that certain part of the country is not a unified one. There is no Jubilee. If Uhuru moves away with 20% of Jubilee and NASA holds, and we know that the system is not with this other side, and I'm not advocating for underhand issues, but I'm saying if Uhuru moves and delivers 20 or 30% of Central Kenya votes to NASA that was there in 2017,
But
we are
and her
there.
team,
I was with Kioko
Yes.
until the point where he digressed kidogo, when he said that the one person that Kalonzo has been clear he does not want to work with is UDA.
Yes.
UDA.
Yeah.
Not William Ruto.
No,
Maybe
those are
what-
semantics,
no,
Gloria.
maybe what
That's
you-
semantics.
no, honestly,
Well,
let me
UDA
bring a- let
and
me bring-
Ruto
let me bring a
are
different-
one and the same
no,
thing.
let me bring a
We
different
can't go that
Let
path.
me bring a
Is
different
there a difference
perspective.
between UDA and
There
Ruto?
is actually, let me
Gloria,
bring- the
Gloria,
perspective I want to bring in here,
yes.
we are forgetting that when UDA started, it was strongly associated by Mudhama. You understand? The politics locally that were being played at that time, actually at one point people said, this party, each amasi ya Ruto, ni ya Mudhama, you get. So when Kalonzo is coming out to say he's not going to work with UDA, what you need to ask yourself, what is his issue? Is his issue William Ruto or UDA in the localized form where he comes from?
good questions,
You know.
but Gloria, another question to
So
you.
it is
I
not
think,
about
are you
William
not
Ruto.
are you not shooting yourself on the foot, disassociating William Ruto with UDA?
That's
at
not what
this
I did.
particular point?
That's not what I
Because
did.
this is what Kyoko feels you're doing.
Well, no,
You're-
what I was
when
trying-
We must be something else
It's not-
here.
it's not
Gloria,
about
Gloria,
semantics.
Gloria,
Yes.
Gloria.
Kalonzo said
give us.
he's not going to be associated with the Wheelbarrow Party.
And who's the
The
Wheelbarrow Party in this
is
case?
not a person.
You're
The
splitting
Wheelbarrow
us.
Party is a political party. It has a lot, and by the way, this is the one thing that Jubilee tried to do and actually almost got it right, where they never wanted to create a party that was associated with one person. When you talk about ANC, we can only think of Mudavadi. When you talk about Wiper, it is only, when you talk about ODM, it is Raila. When you talk about these parties that are associated with one person. But then when I tell you Jubilee, who do you run to? They're like, there's Murade over there, they almost got it right by getting a political party that is not associated to one individual. And that is why when I'm telling you, when Kalonzo stands and says, I will never be associated with the Wheelbarrow Party, you need to ask yourself, what is his issue? Because he's not saying, I will never work with William Ruto. He's talking about the Wheelbarrow Party.
For avoidance of doubt.
Okay.
For avoidance, allow me, sir. For avoidance of doubt, so that we are clear that we don't engage in chicken and egg issues.
Yes.
In this particular matter, when Kalonzo refers to the Wheelbarrow Party or even to UDA, it is synonymous with
No,
William Ruto.
absolutely
and
not.
that is the clarity.
Absolutely not,
And
because
that is the
politics
clarity.
is local,
let me make-
and locally, according to Kalonzo, UDA is also an association of Mudhama.
No,
Quick one as you come in,
let me
Michael.
finish this.
As you come in, Michael, so that we avoid confusion or any
Digressing.
and digressing as well. You want to tell me, this is for Gloria, and probably Michael, you can also jump in, that if today William Ruto does not associate with himself with UDA, UDA will be as vibrant as it is?
Can I say something?
Yes.
In specific regions, and now let me speak particularly in Kisii.
Yes.
Yeah? When UDA was introduced to Kisii, there was a lot of doubts. Because people are saying, hii chama tumeiona na Mudhama. Sisi hamtatoa hiyo chama kutoka Ukambani mkuje mtuweke chama. Sisi tuko na chama zetu. That is when you saw all these political parties, including PDP, Omingo Magara's party, coming out and saying, if it is about a political party that you're looking for in Kisii, by the way, even us, we have PDP, we have CG you can pick one from Kisii and we make it a hustler party. So it kind of took a bit of some time for people to understand UDA is not Mudhama, it is not Ruto, it is not who. It is actually the party that is going to, for instance, nominate or give a chance to women. You saw what they did in Bonchari? They were the first political party in Kisii that actually fronted a woman candidate. So that's why I'm saying, even if you remove William Ruto at this particular moment and tell him, kachini kidogo, sikuna confusion, there's people are running around. UDA has already received such goodwill on the grassroots that it is actually picking on its own. Yes.
Hi, Michael.
I just want to say that sometimes I wonder whether Gloria lives in Kenya. Because if she did, I would agree with my brother there. That parties here are not based on ideologies, philosophy.
Personality.
It's not, it is personality. When Uhuru is there, they're looking at Uhuru. the former, the son to the former president. And they know that this is his party. When Raila is there, they know the history. When Kalonzo is there, they know that Kalonzo is not just there. It's delivered about 2 million votes to somebody. And when he sits pretty and discusses whom he wants to work with, he knows that I have a background here that can give me 2 million. When Musalia is talking there, of course they can split it with Wetangula, but they also know that they have some voting bloc to offer. So it's not about the party that my sister here want to sell to us today. And the
Pontificate to us.
The problem, hold on. Let me
Let's have
finish.
Michael finish
The
his
problem
point.
with our people is once you eat that big cock and chicken around the table, and you've been invited and given a high stool, and then told you're part of this, say what we want, you will never say your mind, unfortunately. But where we are going as a country, and I want my sister here to know, how I wish that this candidate will start selling us their agenda, development agenda. I wish they'll go into the regions like Kisii and say, this is what we want for Kisii.
I would like to
You know,
respond
one
to
of the
that.
things that I've seen that this Kutanga guys do, and I don't know where they Kutanga, because I meet them quite often, but they tanga somehow or somewhere. But what I don't see them talking about is what they want to do for the people. And even if they want to tell us what they want to do for the people, the fundamental question that everybody smart is going to ask them is that you're still in power. Why are you not able to do it now?
Yeah.
That is the question that everybody needs to ask them. Because I will ask the same question. I don't mind Kalonzo Musyoka saying, I do not want to work with UDA. But I strongly believe that there must be a reason why he doesn't work with UDA. And why he doesn't want to work with Ruto. Why? Because he has worked with Ruto before. And he knows the leader of that party. He might not be in at the registrar or political party as a leader, but he knows that he's the guy championing and registering UDA. And the other day he confessed and said, I'm in UDA, and we are going with it.
No.
Hold on. If he didn't say, you tell
Let's
us
be
later
factual.
on.
We never
But what
said
I'm
that.
saying in
We
this
never
case
said that.
is I don't have to defend Raila Amolo Odinga when he says that today I am not going to run for president, and therefore everybody else come, because I said before, when he decides, even if you're 100 people, he will still run because he's the guy in ODM. When Ruto decides to run in UDA, it doesn't matter whether Mudama was there. In fact, Mudama was even on the ODM side at one point. But still, when Raila decided to run, he decided, look, I'm not even talking about, I'm just supporting you. What we are seeing today is deceitfulness of politicians that pretend that I cannot say any dirt about a single individual that I think will give me money, will fund my campaign, and will be with me when I need that individual. And that individual in this country, most cases, is saying that it's Ruto, because he seems to have a lot of money and he seems to be supporting a lot of people. And for that reason, I will never say anything ill about him. I want to see leaders being elected on the basis of integrity. And I think that's what Kalonzo is talking about.
Right. I know you come in, Gloria, but there is a gentleman I want us to hear from the horse's mouth. We've been saying what he said. Let's not listen to what the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka himself did say with regards to the One Kenya Alliance, which I want us to talk about when we first watch this particular clip, and then we'll be able to come back and dissect further.
ANC ya ndugu yangu Musalia Mudavadi, Ford Kenya ndugu yangu Moses Wetangula Masika Wetangula, na KANU ya Gideon Moi, tumeweka One Kenya Alliance, na hiyo ndiyo itaunda serikali next August.
Yeah, so there you go. He talks about how the One Kenya Alliance is what will definitely deliver in a general election. He speaks about Gideon Moi, he speaks about Musalia Mudavadi, he speaks about his brother Wetangula. But when you listen to these names, I mean, for the rest of, or the better part of our history, for most of us who are young like me, these are people that we have seen, we have had all over time again. And this is what also Michael attested to in the beginning of the conversation. He spoke about the fact that they are the same people that we are seeing, and all they do is just change their colors, they change the coat. Today it is Jubilee, tomorrow it will be UDA, then there will be a Kenya Alliance. And when we talk about the political Ponzi schemes, what we wanted to discuss here in this paper is who is being fooled. Is it the politicians fooling each other? Is it the voter being fooled by the politicians? Because we are the same people who will complain 5 years later after these elections or electing these same people and then still vote for these same personalities come 2022. I want to start with you, Kyoko, and I know Gloria has some more to talk about.
I needed a right of reply.
All right, go ahead.
He said some serious damage.
Take it and then give me an answer
kindly,
to that.
kindly.
Yes.
3 things I want to put clear. I was
Yes.
waiting for that clip so
Yes.
that I could hear if Kalonzo said, I do not want to work with William Ruto. I didn't hear that. So that is a fact. He said he does not want to work with UDA, and I've told you the mystery behind that statement. Go and look at the localized politics and the influence and whatever, Mudama in there. There is a message he's trying to pass there.
So your crystal ball says that Kalonzo might work with Ruto.
Kalonzo will
work with Ruto.
Work with the person that is going to
Is that
be
an
in
official
office.
position of UDA?
Kalonzo will work with the person
that an
that is
official
going to
position
be in
of
office come
UDA?
2022. And
Whoever it is.
we know William Ruto is going to be in office. So that's why I'm saying he's very careful even with his wordings. The other thing that he was talking about is that it's just about these groupings, and he wants to see the Hustler Nation movement and the Tanga Tanga going to really talk about like economic interests of these regions. I don't know. He has not been living in this country, because the other day we just saw that is actually what's happening. We are in a state where there is a manifesto that is being created, and this time around, because we have a candidate who actually believes in getting content from the people. He has actually asked the people from different regions. We saw Rift Valley gathering the other day in, is it Nakuru or Eldoret? I can't really remember. And what they did was they were talking about the economic interests of the Rift Valley, and they actually came together with an economic plan, which they are pushing 2, 3, or 4 points to be put in the ultimate manifesto that William Ruto is going to run by. We have the same going on in Kisii County. I am sitting in that committee, so I can tell you for a fact that the economic interests that are being discussed, it's not about wheelbarrows or what, it's about actual policies. The cottage industry. We're talking about how we are going to boost manufacturing. We're talking about, we started with this banana processing plant, but it didn't come this far. What are the low-lying, hanging fruits that we can pull in the first 2 or 3 years of William Ruto's term? So these things are happening, and they're being televised everywhere. I think, what happens is when you're in ODM, and excuse my language, when you are just a follower.
Chunga,
yeah?
Ezekiel Mutoe.
What happens is that you only see what your eyes want to see. Yeah, that song.
But on a
So
serious
he
note,
only sees
there's a
one
lot of
angle.
there's a lot of
But in terms of the economic interest,
Yeah.
there are very serious conversations that are ongoing, where this wheelbarrownomics is being translated into actual policies, into actual manifestos, tangible, strategic means of actually.
So I was
putting
not
allow
was
us
not
to
wrong
also
to say that they don't have, because they've just said, she's just said that they're still writing it.
No, but it's
Then
also
I'm
fair.
wrong.
I think the issue should be.
Let's go one by one.
They don't even have a presidential candidate.
No. The
We are
issue
working
should
on
be,
the manifesto.
Gloria.
We are working on the manifesto.
We are trying also to have
Yeah.
a sensible conversation that is devoid of deceit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that is, we owe it to this
Yeah.
platform. We owe it to this platform, so that the statements we say here can be interrogated by our audience, can be interrogated by the people who are looking at us, and people can be able to say, truly, that was an enlightening conversation.
Absolutely.
It is very unfair for you to insinuate what you're insinuating about the person of Kalonzo, because there's clarity. Kalonzo is not edging out Mudama. The way you are trying to put it is that there's intra-Kamba politics of saying, if you remove Mudama, I can work with Ruto.
I'm
And hear me. You need to also hear. You need to hear the conversation. Kalonzo has clarity that of all the political actors he won't work with, or those he will work with, there is one person. No, he doesn't have to mention.
No, he does, because that's what we're doing.
All right. I think we will not end that.
I think that's not fair. I will leave it at that, because again, I don't want also us to engage into that rough conversation of he said, she said conversation.
We can
Again,
just
that
speak
demeans
facts.
it. I would like to leave it this way.
And the clip said UDA. You did
Gloria.
not mention William Ruto.
Let's
That
not-
is what I'm
I would
reporting.
like to leave it at this, because because I come from the area and I know what was spoken and I have clarity about it and what people understood.
Fair enough.
And what was said and what is implied is as a Kamba nation and as Kalonzo, our leader,
Fair enough, Kyoko.
we will not engage. We will not leave it at that point. Let us move in to other conversations.
Can you now respond to my question? Yes, yes.
Politics in Kenya, over time, has been organized along tribal lenses. Tribal chiefs sit together and organize themselves, and the community feels that for as long as Kalonzo is up there at the front, we are represented. For as long as Musalia Mudavadi is up there at the front, the Luhya nation is represented. For as long as, now, that is the old way of doing things. It has its demerits. And as young people, we appreciate the demerits of it. There's a new school that is being fronted, and I thought that is what Gloria would have spent a lot of time,
If I got time.
talking
time, though.
about it, that we are, as UDA, they are proposing a new way of looking at things. Instead of looking at this glass as half empty, let us look at it half full.
But you can equally do the same.
We are proposing an economic empowerment.
This election will be a contest of old order of doing business, where political kingpins representing tribes are coming together vis-a-vis what the Deputy President Ruto is trying to push forward of saying, let us go to the youth directly, let us go to Kenyans directly. How Kenyans react is a subject that we must all wait and listen and see. Will Kambas, for example, let me use that really, it's not a molding brief for Kalonzo, but will Kambas, when they were presented with a senator candidate in Machakos of UDA after selling its policies of hustlers and everything, will they leave Kalonzo for the hustler narrative? They stuck with Kalonzo and the wiper candidate at that particular point. Is it an indication? Is it an indication of moving forward or not? It is something you can learn. On the case of Msambweni, and this you need to understand, there are regions in this country, and we can count them. Coast region, we can count Kisii, we can count Northeastern, we can count, which is the other one? Areas that have not produced leaders of note who have aspired into leadership positions. Those are...
How did you just put Kisii in that your list? What are you trying to say about
How about
people?
if we let him finish? I mean, we will be in a place where nobody can speak here. So we let him,
There are areas that they are, and in the case of Kisii, the person they had produced, God rest his soul, then there was a political vacuum from 2007 moving forward. Now that is considered a green area, fertile to listen to any person who carries the agenda forward. When you go to Coast, because of lack of a strong candidate to galvanize the society, anybody who brings an agenda to them,
a swing vote,
there's a swing vote area. So we must declassify Kenya or look at Kenya from those three categories. Areas with strong political leaders who aspire for presidency, those ones, you either negotiate with the leader or you attempt what Dr. Ruto is attempting. It can work, it can fail. Areas where they do not have strong political leadership aspiring to national leadership, then you devise innovative approaches to get them and negotiate with them. I think that's the nature of the debate, and that's the nature of the political schemes that are going to happen.
Right.
Who is being fooled? And I think this is the conversation.
Yes.
How you need to understand the demographics of the voters. The voters of 2002 are not the voter of today. The space that Gloria occupies, because she's youth, is different, and there are many in numbers. How will they behave in this election? How will they behave in the next election? The issues that were contentious in 2017 might not be contentious in 2022. The issues that were agreeable in 2002 might not be agreeable now. So politics is dynamic. Somebody, of course, will be played. This coalition, somebody is going to get hurt. And I think, when I look at it clearly, the person Gloria is pushing for, it might be in for a rude shock.
Might be in for a rude shock. Michael, before Gloria comes in, do you think that the person Gloria is pushing for is the one that will be in for a rude shock? Because there are others from other quarters who've been saying that the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, is the one who might be in for a rude shock with the whole handshake situation. He might be played in the end. Some even argue, there are some conspiracy theories that the rift between the president and his deputy could just be cosmetic, because people always vote for the person who always seems cornered. And so the cornered person in this case is the deputy president. I would love to hear your analysis on this.
I think the person that has been cornered several times than any other person in this country is Raila Amolo Odinga. The deputy president was a minister in Moi's era, and he was a minister in Kibaki's era. and he was a vice president in. So if you look at what we're talking about, dynasty is part of the dynasty. He's been in government longer than most people that we're talking about. In fact, longer than people who are voters today, basically. Some of them who are voters today. So you cannot tell me that this guy has just suddenly realized that there are poor people in this country and now he needs to upgrade them, because all those years that he's been working as a minister, he never thought they were poor. That to me is the deceit I'm talking about. I'm talking about an environment where basically what you want and what you want to tell people is for your own interest and not for the people. When William Ruto walked into this country and said every county with ad will have a stadium, he was stuck on TV and everybody saw him. He's never apologized and said, I was not able to deliver this thing.
Was he played because the president was not talking and yet they were all in the same government?
That to me is not the case. When you look at Uhuru One was run by deputy president and not the president, and I think he's alluded to that more recently when he said that his first term there were more things that went worse than he thought than his second term. He just alluded to it. So what I'm saying today is the players we are seeing today are not for the Mwananchi, and I think Kioko alluded to it as well. They are there because they want a position in 2022. And by the way, they know for a fact that if they don't get into this coalition, they will miss. They do not want to miss. They know that there's a vacuum, that Uhuru Kenyatta is going home, and so they will do anything. And the question that everybody is asking is, who tells you that Ruto cannot go and work with Raila? In fact, I think he's made some statement in the past where he said if he wants a Luo, he doesn't have to go in amongst the Luos to get votes. He's told some of his buddies that I will not get those votes. If I want the Luo votes, I'll go to Raila straight away. That means there's a possibility of him saying, I can work with you. And let me tell you, that guy, he can do even the impossible. I mean, I don't think you can stop him if he knows that he's going to lose in the next election. If Raila is one going to be the president, you'll not stop him to go to Raila and say, I want to be there. The situation we are seeing today, and I think you asked about what is happening with Kalonzo Musyoka and what is happening with Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi, and what is happening with Gideon Moi. I was surprised to see that Gideon Moi in today's newspaper saying that I'm joining, ODM to support ODM. I don't know whether he said that or not, but I saw it on the Star. That to me, and I think I've just heard Kalonzo Musyoka saying that Gideon Moi is in our team. It is possible that Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, and Wetangula and Gideon Moi can work as a team, because we've seen them work as a team. We've seen them work in One Kenya initiative as a team. It is also possible that they can work with Raila, especially when they know that one of them is going to be the president. The only reason why Musalia Mudavadi did not work with Uhuru Kenyatta is he felt cheated. He felt betrayed in 2013, and he felt that he was insulted. But he was given a position, a ministerial position, which he said no to, remember. He said, no, I'd rather stay out here. That's a gentleman agreement, saying that from what I've gone through, I'd rather stay out there as an opposition leader and work well. What will surprise everybody is where is the deputy president of that individual that will be supported to be the president of this country. And we've had a number of people saying from Central Province saying, deputy president, you must get the deputy president from here. We also know that Honorable Raila Odinga is also getting pressure that you must also get a deputy president from here in Central. I don't know where Musalia Mudavadi, because it seems a lot of people are not asking him to get the deputy president from there. And so if they're not asking him to get the deputy president from there, the question is, how much do they know that we don't know? If they're not asking Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka to take a deputy from their side, how much do they know that we do not know? To me, that is the question I'm asking on all this political fiasco that we are seeing today. We are told that in this country, a presidency discussed on the table, and then people work towards it and it's awarded. The question is, have they discussed that individual that will be the president? But could BBI be also a factor? Because they're really pushing BBI, and if they're pushing BBI, will the likes of Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, and even the deputy president, have a chair on that table, so that this country country unifies as we're thinking of it. What if the BBI does not work and this, the Court of Appeal nullifies it, sustains the nullification, and the Supreme Court sustains the nullification, then everybody will go on their own, and perhaps the person that will suffer most in that case will be the president, because his succession plan will not have worked the way he might have wanted it.
Yeah, but in agreement.
Yeah, but let's first
Allow me, in the same to finish.
I've been a very good
Kyoko.
girl.
Okay.
Have you noticed I've been a very
She's-
good girl? I have been keeping quiet,
I think that's the
letting
shocking
this
part.
man talk.
Gloria, take it away. but
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Let me protect Gloria. Gloria, as
okay.
you come in, I mean, the question here is, I mean, the Deputy President himself has been on record having said that, he wouldn't mind working with the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. In fact, he said there are areas where they agree on a lot, and that was on the area of
Strong
political parties that are not tribal. Because Gloria loves facts, and she might take me on this. I'd like us to listen to that part. Let's listen into that.
Only when it favors her.
Go ahead.
Kimawazo na former prime minister. Haya ni tofauti ya kisiasa, lakini mahali ninakubaliana na former prime minister, yeye kama vile mimi tunaamini katika chama ya kitaifa. Kuna msukumo mkubwa saizi. Ford Kenya inaambiwa lazima iwe chama ya watu wa Western. Iwe chama ya watu wa Western. Watu wa Western wote mendeni pale. Hii ingine ya Wiper ikuwe chama ya watu wa Ukambani, endeni pale. Kuna sasa wanasukumwa wengine, nyinyi watu wa Coast, endeni tengenezeni chama ya Coast. Lakini hawa ambao wanawaambia endeni mtengeneze chama ya kabila, kwa sababu ukianza safari ya kugawanya watu, hautajua mahali ya kusimamia. Ikifika pale mahali ambapo itashindikana kwamba hawa watu wameamua, vile wewe umesema kwamba wametangaza wazi kwamba hawataki wengine wetu katika chama ya Jubilee, basi itabidi tuwe na mpango mbadala.
Yeah. There you go. I think talk about that. Ikishindikana, if it gets to that point, we will have to think about, and those were the options he was talking about. In the end, when we're talking about this playing and being played, come 2022, and then former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, decides to work with William Ruto, the Deputy President. Do you see that as a possibility currently, as we speak? And in the end, if that was to happen, wale ambao wamekuwa kipigana huku chini, the ODM, UDA, and sisi ni Team Ruto, Tanga, Team Kieleweke,
They
Team
become
Handshake.
one basket.
Yeah, but why do politicians do that to common mwananchi?
First, let me correct you.
Yes.
It is not William Ruto who will decide to work with Raila Odinga. As at now, the only clear presidential candidate that has come out openly and strongly and is the front runner is William Samoei Ruto. And that is why you're seeing all these other people panicking and trying to form all these alliances, coming together. Whether they want to call them tribal kingpins or regional kingpins, whatever it is, they're actually forming alliances strong enough, according to them, to defeat this one person that has been underestimated for quite some time now, 3 years, that has been called dead on arrival since he started his campaign, to an extent where suddenly it becomes a reality that, oh my goodness, do you understand how the movement has actually ground? Do you understand that William Ruto can go to Kisumu and have a gathering of people literally begging to just see him, like a sort of small, king from Ukolu Nyanza? So by the time ODM has woken up to understand that BBI that they were pushing, BBI was their tool. BBI was Raila Odinga's campaign platform. When they had that handshake, even the people within ODM were surprised. We are informed that only 4 people knew about the handshake, to the extent that some of them felt betrayed. Baba angetuambia at least to prepare watu. That has been the talk. So BBI was Raila Odinga's political campaign platform. And the idea of that was that everyone gets a car. Have you seen that episode for Oprah? You get a car, everybody gets a car. Because when we expand the executive, we will have the president, we'll have the deputy president, we'll have the prime minister, we'll have 2 deputy prime ministers, we'll have an office of the leader of the opposition, he will have 15, I don't know what's needed, we'll have ministers, you can be MP and minister, everybody gets a car, everybody wins, you know? And that seemed like such a good idea for very weak candidates like Kalonzo. A good idea for very weak candidates who, Abduba and the rest, they were like, there's going to be a place for me on the table. You understand? And that's the reason why, when BBI actually experienced the hiccups, we were saying, kuna mtu alikanyaga live wire ya DJ, reggae ikaacha kuimba. When they were experiencing those small challenges, the people who are complaining the most are the ones who knew without BBI, they are not going to be anywhere in the executive. They are not going to be anywhere in active politics come 2022. They actually understood that, listen, this is my only platform to actually have business continuity, career development as a politician. That is why they said, oh yeah, let's come together and unite the country. Now that BBI is on pause, are you seeing the panic? The panic is One Kenya Alliance. Oh no, now I'm not in One Kenya Alliance. Now I'm NASA, you know, we are going to endorse a NASA candidate. The panic is, there's just panic. Because nobody ever saw that indeed there was going to be this, let me call it, government tool that has been endorsed by the president, that has been given a lot of money from the taxpayers' money. We are still waiting for those audited reports. Everyone knew, in fact, people were telling me, wewe nyamaza utafute Senate huko Kisii because BBI is passing. Wachana na hii maneno ya MP. Wewe nyamaza unajua ukikuwa MP, you will also come back as a minister of youth because that's what BBI is bringing. So people were so confident. I can tell you that sometimes when I sat on set with people such as the Secretary General of Third Way Alliance, he was telling me to wake up. Wake up because BBI is just 3 weeks, alafu we hit the road. So the panic that you see now is because something has been snatched out from these veteran politicians who do not have a lifeline. So they are panicking, they are they're finding all sorts of gatherings, or Koa Kenya, I don't know what handshakes, and it's very simple. At one point when they realize William Ruto is going to be in power, everybody will be knocking on that door.
Right, back to my question.
Why is it?
I want an answer for this question because I don't want you to go away.
Okay.
Why is it that politicians do this to the electorate, to the voters? At one point, we are anti so-and-so. We are for you. We are standing by you. Next minute, oh, we have crossed over. We are now having a handshake.
My answer to that would be, it's because we've never had issue-based politics. We don't politic on issues. That's why when this economic empowerment thing was introduced, you know, this hustler movement, people didn't even know how to respond to it. You know, what is the comeback? We are going to empower the country and build it from the bottom up. How will you then come as Raila Odinga and say, forget this bottom-up thing, I will give you what? You understand? So we never really we've not been practicing issue-based politics. So there's this transition where the veteran politicians, the older politicians, I'm sorry to say this, don't know how to deal with it. So that's why they sort of do the reset button and they go back to their tribal gatherings. They go back to their regional gatherings. So that is why I would say it is not about the politicians calling the electorate. The politicians have, since time immemorial, been doing the same thing. And when one person wakes up and says, absolutely not, now we are going to transition from tribal politics, from this politics of standing in the podium and making promises that you can't deliver, to the politics of, okay, our platform is economic empowerment. People came and said, so how do you intend to do this? These are the policies we are going to do. So we're just in transition.
But I think maybe
the electorate is very smart. By the way, these Mama Mbogas and commoners, Wanjiku and Mora, don't think they're being conned. They are sitting like this on their hands. Come 2022, you will see how smart those people are. Right. They will vote.
Actually, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
In terms of credibility on what we say here on the media, it is wrong for Gloria to say that BBI was only known to 4 people. President Uhuru Kenyatta is in record saying very clearly that William Ruto was privy to this. In fact, he was even asked and he appointed people to the BBI committee. And therefore, it would be wrong for her to say that this was a campaign tool for Honorable Raila Odinga. Even if you don't support an individual, don't say false, negative stories
That is
about
not
it.
distortion.
Because that is distortion
That
of
is my
facts.
opinion,
No,
and
it's not-
it's an opinion that I
an
hold.
opinion that is
It's an
wrong
opinion
needs to
I
be
hold.
made that
you
is
can't
wrong.
have a wrong
Number
opinion.
two.
He can have his opinion. I
All right,
have
give
mine.
us your
These are
opinion.
facts
No,
that are
that
in
is my
public domain.
opinion. I'm
Maybe I
an
can take-
analyst.
These are
That's
facts
my
that are
opinion.
in public domain.
my opinion.
Number two,
all right.
number two, I wanted to finish
Michael,
by saying
yeah,
this. Just
yeah.
I know it's his turn, but I wanted to say this in response to what the Deputy President is saying, that he does not want chama cha kugawanya watu. When Deputy President was given a position to run government with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, if you look at the entire cabinet of the Deputy President, there were people from Rift Valley. Uhuru Kenyatta makes them. Who was dividing the country more than the other?
That's an opinion.
But
that is an
if we
opinion.
can
That is
move
an
it.
opinion,
Kyoko,
though.
just briefly, because I want us
clarity.
to take a break. We pay some bills, but then we come back and move this particular conversation forward, because we would love to understand. We've had very bold statements coming from politicians, and even on this particular panel, the question is, will those making these particular statements stick by those statements come 2022? Politics, they say, even a minute
Is a lot.
is a lot
So
of
do I
time.
respond now or do I wait for the commercial?
Let's
going
go
to
pay
pay
the bills.
bills.
We pay the bills.
Otherwise,
Okay, fair enough.
life-
Gloria has jumped onto that thing. She knew I was coming.
all right. So let's take a very short break. Let's take a very short break, and then we'll be coming back. All right, let's take a break.
You're watching Look Up TV.
You guys have to tweet about this. What is this? It looks good. How much is it? You haven't heard of the Optiven offer? No. I must exclusively invest too. Optiven has this amazing offer. If you make a commitment of 900k in any of their value-added projects, you get rewarded with a cool smartphone, bro.
Welcome to the Natural Juicing Center. We are a unique organization that seeks to provide the community with an alternative healthcare option. We specialize in the use of a natural holistic system that focuses on building health through cleansing and nourishing of the body. We utilize a variety of natural health promoting methods in our services, which include juicing therapy, hydrotherapy, colon cleansing, massage therapy, and a comprehensive cleansing service, among others. Our juices are freshly made and tailored to each and every client's individual needs after evaluation by our team through our free consultation service. You can now book for any service or order for food supplements on our website www.naturaljuicingcenter.co.ke. You can also visit our center in Kahawa Sukari, house number 1334, Kahawa Sukari Avenue. Natural Juicing Center. Your health is your wealth.
Welcome to Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer. When you first come in, we'll be happy to receive you at our reception, then proceed to our cozy and well-equipped accommodation facilities. We aim to provide our guests with a unique, comfortable and worthwhile experience. Here at Look Up Guest House, we provide our guests with a continuous supply of room amenities. A cool environment for all your retreat activities.
Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. For reservation, contact us on info@lookupguesthouse.org or call us on 0746 788 707. Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
Imagine a life of comfort that many people would admire. From drugs, crime, and now a broken leg and a broken arm. And she was a slave to addiction for a period of tell the story of Catherine Nyambura, Joyce Wairimu, John Kariuki. This is a story of Hazel Mumbi, from a very broken childhood that led her to revenge. But the story is different for Joseph Kabuchi, whose life was turned around by a presidential pardon. She was taken to maternity. Did she get the help she needed? And now she chooses to impact positive change every moment that she gets. Her message, no human is beyond repair. I am Nancy Nalima. Thank you so much for watching.
Why I Did It, Saturdays from 8 p.m. only on Look Up TV. Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv. You're watching Look Up TV.
Welcome to Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. When you first come in, we will be happy to receive you at our reception, then proceed to our cozy and well-equipped accommodation facilities. We aim to provide our guests with a unique, comfortable, and worthwhile experience. Here at Look Up Guest House, we provide our guests with a continuous supply of room amenities. A cool environment for all your retreat activities.
Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. For reservation, contact us on info@lookupguesthouse.org or call us on 0746 788 707. Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
Welcome to the Natural Juicing Center. We are a unique organization that seeks to provide the community with an alternative healthcare option. We specialize in the use of a natural holistic system that focuses on building health through cleansing and nourishing of the body. We utilize a variety of natural health promoting methods in our services, which include juicing therapy, hydrotherapy, colon cleansing, massage therapy, and a comprehensive cleansing service, among others. Our juices are freshly made and tailored to each and every client's individual needs after evaluation by our team through our free consultation service. You can now book for any service or order for food supplements on our website www.naturaljuicingcenter.co.ke. You can also visit our center in Kahawa Sukari, house number 1334, Kahawa Sukari Avenue. Natural Juicing Center. Your health is your wealth.
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Look Up TV movement now. You're watching Look Up TV.
Right, welcome back. Thank you so much for still being with us. Of course, the conversation is going on, as you can see from behind me. The panelists are still on fire. We've been having our behind-the-scenes conversation on this big debate we're having on the show. And it is about the politics of conmanship, politics of deceit. That's what we're discussing tonight. If you are out there and you'd like to hear, we'd love to hear from you. All you need to do is just tweet us, and always remember to add the hashtag the bottom line KE. That's what we're following tonight, and let's take a look at some of those tweets that have been coming in thick and fast. I'm sure we'll have them on the screen. There we have it. We have Dennis Shak at Shak_Kenya, and Dennis says, what is the nature of Ponzi schemes and what are their tools and mechanisms? What do we know about Ponzi perpetrators? That's a very good one. Definitely we'll be throwing it up to our panelists. We have another one who is at colloidal_, says, Michael Agwanda is touching on political history in the Kenyan political arena and the changes that have happened over time. Quite interesting. Thank you so much for that. We have Garvin_Mungai says, Kenyans would be forgiven if they thought this was deja vu. We have been here before in early 2008 in the aftermath of another presidential election gone wrong and sparking widespread bloodletting. Thank you so much, Gavin, for that. I'm sure you're responding to something right there. We have Wanjiko that is at KE_Wanjiko_, and she says, state of political coalitions in Kenya. It is not even the political year yet, and we have witnessed rise and fall of coalitions. Come 2022, only the strongest shall survive the heavy tide. Right, of course, I have another one there at Hustler Campaign, and it says, could you ask Kioko this? What if Ruto decides to work with Raila? Will Kalonzo support the two? Kioko, I think I'd love you to take that up. Twende kazi, Kioko.
No, that's interesting. It
Yes.
just shows politics is the art of the possible. Anybody can work with anybody. And it just shows that in our politics, those who were enemies yesterday might not be enemies today. We need to be fluid. Nothing is cast in stone. For the case of Kalonzo, he will reevaluate his position vis-a-vis that alliance and conjure up his own coalition of people, because he has stated clearly that he does not want to work with Ruto. And he's also come out and said he does not believe that supporting Raila in the same manner that he did in 2017 and in 2013 is going to result in any different outcome. I think we need to understand those dynamics. That Kalonzo wants to chart a cause of his own? Yes. Does he believe that cause is in partnership with Ruto? No. Does he believe that working with Raila will give him a different alternative? No. But can Raila support, or should Raila be pressurized to support Kalonzo or Mudavadi? He's saying that is something under the circumstances that needs to be considered. I think that's the fluidity of the situation. But be that as it may, I think one clear conversation that is happening here, realization that if NASA does not stay together, the NASA of 2017, in whichever formation, if they do not stay together, these people that Gloria represents are going to wipe us. They're going to thoroughly mess this country. And today, any sober person must ask himself this question. If the Uhuru government or if the Jubilee government has messed this economy to this extent, is the solution removing Uhuru and replacing him with Ruto? Or is the solution removing Uhuru and Ruto and finding new people who have not played any role in power acquisition or being at the center of policy formulation in this country?
What would be your answer?
My answer will be try a new hand. That new hand is represented in the lineup of Kalonzo, Mudavadi, Raila, Gideon.
But these people have also been in this politics.
No, they have been, but in the last, let me tell you, in the last 8 years, really, you cannot say the NASA principles have been involved in this government of Jubilee. In the first 5 years, we saw what was there. It was Ruto and Ruto and Uhuru running the show and streamlining this country. In the second year, it is after the handshake, and the only thing that came up with the handshake is an economic blueprint plus the BBI referendum. The BBI project and referendum has stalled, and therefore the political gains that would have come with it somehow look stalled. And that is why when you hear Gloria say, on what campaign platform will Raila run with? Them, they have already coined the bottom-up approach. The question again is, this bottom-up approach could have been performed when somebody was in power from get-go. Why do you bring it at the sunset years of government and try to bring it as a novel idea of engaging youth?
I would like to
Secondly, we get to that point. Secondly, and critically for that matter, people have a different approach to issues. As a national government, you cannot go into microeconomics directly. You will promise people, yes, we will bring sheds, we will do this. But when you come in as government, you see the macroeconomics, the bigger picture that create a conducive environment for the microeconomics to sustain itself,
Maybe it's
for
time to change the
microeconomics
narrative.
in speech, it looks very rosy. In speech, it looks very rosy. In reality, as a president, you want to make a policy not specifically for Kisii region. You want to make a policy that cuts across so that the young person in Mombasa, the young person in Vanga, the young person in Mandera feels honored into that platform. So the presidency and the institution of government looks at the macro. The conversion of the macro into micro and gains, therefore, for the young people is the work of government. Ruto, DP Ruto, and his accolades, what they should have done is in that period that they were there, they should have talked about how the macro is influencing the micro, what they are talking about now. Right. So I think bottom line, and I think this is a conversation that we can take anywhere.
Correct.
If NASA, if Kalonzo and Mudavadi run a separate program, if Raila stands on this side alone, and Ruto stands there alone, Ruto will win this thing. That is what Charity Ngilu is saying. That is what all sober people are saying. NASA must come together and ask the hard question, can the captain score at this time? Or do we need to substitute the captain and get a new captain and encourage the supporters of captain? Now that, because being in government, I remember Mzee Jaramogi Odinga used to say, ata mkia ya ng'ombe ni afadhali. Being outside power is a nasty experience. So people must reason out together and say, either we rise together or we perish together. Because the poison that has been spewed, the propaganda that has been repeated until it appears to be gospel truth, the innuendos that have been peddled by Gloria and his supporters and his team, if left unchecked, they will harm this country.
Gloria, you have a right of reply.
Thank you very
Say
much.
amen first.
Thank you very much.
Say amen.
I want to thank you
Say amen.
for empowering me. He speaks with such authority of the power that I have over Kenyans. Did you realize how it is almost this fearful thing? Unajua Gloria is if it wanasema, guys, listen. Thank you so much for empowering me. I feel very empowered today. But since you guys are my seniors, I want to ask you a question. Have we had a vice president before who was vice president and then became president in this country? You know me, I'm very young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very young. So
Moi was.
We had Moi,
Moi,
right?
yeah.
Anyone else? Did we have a vice president before who was then a presidential candidate?
Immediate succeeding or...
Just in general.
Oh, yeah,
just
proceed.
name
Prosecute
it.
your case.
Yes, we've
Prosecute
had,
your
you
case.
know, they don't want to answer because
Kibaki?
because yes, Kibaki, yes. And when Kibaki then was vying for you know, president, I never had this shenanigans of what can he do, and he was vice president, now he's coming to ask us.
What was the gap
You
between
understand?
Kibaki's
And,
presidency?
Kyoko, Gloria listened to you very
I
clearly when you
listened
were
to you,
making
I
your
was
point.
a good
Let's just
girl,
keep
I
that time.
listened.
It is important
No,
to
no,
draw
no, no.
Yes.
That the Kibaki you are talking about,
No.
Kibaki
The point
was
here-
moved out of being vice president
point-
and stayed 10
the
years
point-
in opposition
the point
before
being-
becoming president.
the point
It was
being-
not, I come out, I become the
point
president next
being,
year.
he was
But
actually
are you
a vice
informed?
president,
Are you
right?
informed?
Very informed.
Are you informed
And I
about
have even,
my
and I
position?
have
All right,
taken
all right, all right.
He was a vice president.
Yeah.
When he came back, whether it was the day after or 10 years
He was
later,
still vice
he
president.
was a vice president. I never had people say, sasa unakuja kutufanyia nini hapa na ulikuwa vice president the other day. Yeah? Just the other time I saw we were celebrating, you know, women in power. Suluhu is now the president, and people are championing all the things she's doing. We are happy. Hey, umeona venye she's attacking corona. How come this nonsense of how come you never did these things when you were a vice president? Because it's clear. When you are the deputy president, you are there to deputize your boss. And even in that constitution that you are pushing,
it's okay. Let's listen.
No,
Not on Ruto.
in
Not
that
on Ruto.
constitution, the only person who has all the instruments of power, all the autonomy to fight corruption, to push policy, to do our foreign affairs and sijui go shake hands with which country and sell what to what. The only person who has the ultimate instruments of power is the president.
But the deputy president...
If the president does not have
Yeah.
the goodwill or is not pointing a certain direction to say we are going to fight corruption, you as his deputy are not going to flog him down Koinange Street and tell him it is time we deal now with this Koinange Street.
But he's
You
already
understand?
flogging the president.
That is the reason why.
By already
No,
starting to mention an economic
That is the reason
blueprint
why in his very recent
while he's
interview,
still in power.
in his very recent interview, he
Yes.
was asked so many questions. And he said, listen, I cannot be talking about my boss. I have respect over my boss because he is deputizing his boss. So if his boss is saying, we are going to Canaan, let us shake these hands here and let's walk to Canaan. And you know very well that Canaan is a fake Canaan. You know, as much as you want to tell him, boss, skiza, you will advise him, but he'll tell you, where to Nenda Canaan, we are shaking this hand, we are going this direction, we are doing BDI, we are doing whatever. The most you can do is try and sort of speak sanity. That is why we saw William Ruto in Bomas asking, sincerely, what is the independence of the judiciary if now we are going to put an ombudsman who reports to? You understand? And he was asking, that was his way of saying, boss, mkubwa, listen to me. I don't want to oppose you, but you need to think through these things. And that's what leadership is about. So at the end of the day, even if he was deputy president for 35 years, the things he can manage to do as deputy president are not the same things that he can manage to do when he has all the instruments, the autonomy, the power to fight corruption, for instance.
Right.
So that argument of you are deputy, does not hold water. And by the way, this is a big four agenda that was being pushed from first and second term, the manufacturing, blah, blah, blah. The reason, and I actually strongly believe, the idea of building the economy bottom up was actually borrowed. This one, I will speak here as a fact, was borrowed from this current government. That is what they were trying to do, for instance, with the job creation, with the low-cost housing in Gara. They were trying to say, this is how, it's not really about the houses. It's about the job creation that you're going to put in that industry of TVET.
So what you're saying,
so
what you're saying is this is
unable,
not a Ruto idea.
No, he was unable
Yeah.
to do the things that he had promised Kenyans as the deputy president. He was unable to give those stadiums. And by the way, yes, I do also hold him very accountable, and I keep asking, sasa unaona umetuachanisha na hatuna this stadium. He was unable to do those things because they got very, they were shown another direction after the handshake. Before the handshake, there was a lot of stuff that was happening. When your leader is so hell-bent on doing something and you're deputizing him, the most you can do is try and get the best out of it. So building the economy from the bottom up is still, it's actually a borrowed principle that failed because he was unable, he was not given the autonomy to execute it.
So he decided to...
So he's decided to carry it forward.
Allow me to
Let's
inform.
let them, you know, but for your information, it was my turn. That a right of reply is not taking your position.
Correct.
So please, next time, just a right of reply is just one rebuttaling one or two.
Thank you, Sensei. Thank you,
Thank
Sensei.
you. Thank you. So I'll allow him to rebuttal. That's
rebuttal.
We need to, again, let's be factual in what we say. When Moi rose to become president, was a death. It was a death. It happened, Mzee died, Moi became. For Kibaki as a vice president, to become president, he was sacked by President Moi. He was demoted to Minister of Health. He defected to DP. He vied for presidency in 1992. He lost the presidency. He vied again in 1997. He lost the presidency. He became the official leader of opposition. He cobbled up an alliance based on a blueprint of the NAC vision in 2002. It was not come in, come out. We must draw the parallels between the Kibaki, the analog you say, there are two vice presidents who have risen to become president, and that is Moi on account of death, and Kibaki, the 12 years he stayed in opposition and shared and was tear gassed in the fight for multipartyism, in the fight for liberal change, and in the fight until he actually became president. There is a 10-year gap.
So Ruto has to be opposition
Hear me.
That's the point?
Hear me.
Summarize.
In the matter of Sulu, again, this is information. So that it is information, so that you can.
Michael, do you want to contribute? Because this is not going to end now.
In the matter of Sulu, allow me to finish this. In the matter of Sulu, again, you cannot quote Sulu's path to ascension of power as something you want to politically invest in. It is even wrong. It is even wrong to say Sulu became power and there was a difference without Magufuli was doing. No. Those are accidental. And Ruto has been in power for 10 years. The first 5 years, up to the handshake of 2019, he had been in power for 6 years.
What is your point
And my point is, in those particular periods, he had the opportunity of reshaping the economic blueprint for Jubilee. Today, the public debt that we pay were on account of the projects that were started in 2014 and 2013 and continuing. The crisis we face today is not...
It's okay, let's listen to them.
It's okay, my dear. It's okay.
I'm just stating their opinions.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but he can finish his point.
The accounts that and the public debt problem that we're having today is based on the economic decisions that were made in the period when the guy was making hay. And he was happy. He was a boss.
Right.
These 4 years after the handshake, you cannot use them and extricate himself from the challenges of Jubilee and say, no, if my boss says we go left, we do this. If no.
We have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to go.
Let me take my turn.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for my sister. She's a youth, and the reason why I feel so sorry is she's making comparison without deep reading and understanding of political scenario and historical handovers and takeover in the government that we're having today.
That's patronizing.
And I say that with great authority.
It's okay.
With great authority, regardless of what she says in this one, because I'm scoring this, knowing very well. And what Kyoko has said is the truth. You cannot analyze Deputy President Ruto and compare him with the other deputy president or vice president who have emerged to become the president. Different scenarios. Uhuru Kenyatta and William Somaya Ruto shared government and they shared ministerial positions. That means they ran the government equally because they came into Jubilee Party as equal partners.
Yes.
Give it to them.
Yes.
When we had national coalition working together with Kibaki, there was shared responsibility. In this country, we've only seen twice when the government has been shared, and that is during Uhuru Kenyatta, William Somaya Ruto, Raila Amolo Odinga, and Mwai Kibaki. Give it to them. That means that they had authority to prosecute and to implement anything they wanted because they had the free will. Not the other vice presidents. Today I say this as I move away from that reality, just to educate my younger sister here, because I know she's going to reach. She's a very smart woman. President Uhuru Kenyatta has no choice but to work with Raila Amolo Odinga and the NASA fraternity for the next government if he doesn't want William Somaya Ruto. And I say this, Raila Amolo Odinga has won even though he's never been the president of this country. Take it to the bank, whether you like it or not. It is a known fact. And that means if he goes out there to look for votes, it's just what my brother here was saying, and just a little bit from Central Province, he can still get it. But if you put any other candidate that is not supported by Raila Amolo Odinga, William Ruto goes home with it. The question is, will that have been the succession ideology of one President Uhuru Kenyatta or not? I think he's in public domain, and he said that NASA has to come together. It is also in public domain when he says he cannot leave this country in the hands of a thief. I don't know whom he meant, but somehow people are guessing who that is. I don't know what is told, but seems like the president knows that there's a thief around. that he might not be happy to leave the presidency. I don't know who that is. But today I say this, William Somaya Ruto knows very, very well that when they were making the government, he's the one who came up with the biggest quote, 54%. And the many, many members of parliament in this country that never won an election but won on the basis of 54%. When he said that Nairobi cannot be run by another party but Jubilee, look at it, it was 54%. What William Somaya Ruto is not telling us is I know what happens in the government and how people come into power. I know that these people, if they decide to work with somebody, they're going to be in power. One thing that this lady has said today that William Somaya Ruto has refused to recognize is this lady has prosecuted Uhuru Kenyatta as a president who should have done everything possible and not necessarily his deputy that they were sharing the government with. However, when you look at William Somaya Ruto, the person is prosecuted and is blaming every single day is a man he calls Kitandawili man and not the president. He's living in a euphoria. He's living in a world of deceit. He's living in a place where he says, I really hate that person, the president, but I don't want to tell him on his face because he's my president. I wish he would have done what Raila Amolo Odinga did during Moi time and resigned and went back home and got the mandate of the people again. I wish he did what Mwai Kibaki did, and he went out there and he got the mandate of the people again. When that national rainbow came together, my brother, there was one man from Kisii called Nyachai. He also wanted to be the president. But Mwai Kibaki was smart enough. He knew that if he did not get the support of a stronger person, he was not going to be the president. You don't know how annoyed that man was when Raila said Kibaki Tosha. You don't know how unhappy he was, how the Kisii nation was so unhappy when Raila did not declare their son but said Kibaki Tosha. And Kibaki became the president. That was a new chapter. Today, there are people that need to tell you, wewe umetosha for you to be the president of this country because of the following. Thank you.
Right. Let's move the conversation forward. That was a very good one. I mean, in terms of the...
I have been preached for.
Someone is speaking in my ear, says a PLO movement. I think that's much even better than a PLO movement. But let me start.
That was fine English.
Do you think...
And good content.
Ladies and gentlemen, in closing...
That was good.
In closing... Do you think that the politicians have mastered the art of deceiving the electorate? They've known this is the weakness of this electorate. If I just went to them and told them this, they will definitely just vote for me. Whether I have delivered, whether I am a person who really thinks about them, or I just want to be in power, as Michael alluded earlier on. I want to understand how politicians do this, because today they're saying we are on this side. But tomorrow, when their fans and their followers are busy fighting on the ground, they are busy moving around and having a good time. So my question is, we as the citizenry, we as the voters, have the politicians mastered the art of deceiving us and having us by their hands? And when they want us to go this way, we go. We go this way, we go. Like Kyoko asked you, Gloria, I mean, how is it that we can be saying that the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto was a bad government or did not deliver on its promises and made the country become worse, but only prosecute the president and forget about the deputy who we now want to vote as the president? I want to understand. I mean, how are the politicians?
I don't want to go back to belabor that point, but
yes.
I think the idea that the electorate can be deceived, that's a very old school idea. And I like listening to this history. Yesterday I was listening to a political analyst who started telling us about the days of Jaramogi Oginga and how they formed which party and what. It's really nice. It's informative. It's history. You know, it's rich. We should put it in the museums. We should put it in the museums. No, for real. I mean,
so what he just said.
Yes. No. I appreciate it in its elements, you know. I want to borrow a few things here and there, but I mean, it's history. It is history. It's things that happened in the past. He's talking about a Raila Odinga who I threw away my SIM card for, who I stopped drinking a certain milk for, who I went to the streets when I was 8 months pregnant to campaign for. You understand? That was my Raila Odinga at that time, my savior, Canaan. You could not tell me anything. That was a person I looked at and I just saw revolution. That was 2007, 2008. History. So much has happened between 2007 and 2008. Now we're in 2021. We have a pandemic, for Christ's sake. We are on Twitter. This show is live somewhere in the interwebs.
Yeah.
We are paying our bills through all sorts of platforms. We are on Bitcoin money. We are doing campaigns on televised screens. We are now putting up posters. You've seen Moses Kuria
Akina Michael
complaining.
Kyoko old school.
Wacha nikwambie what is happening.
Yeah.
You cannot remain in that slumber. You cannot come and tell me I am a veteran politician with the name ABCD and just hope by having that name that you will swing the votes and people will respect and bow down and say, unajua huyu ametoka kwa ile nyumba ya kina Nyachae, unajua huyu ametoka kwa ile nyumba. That stuff doesn't work anymore. It does not work anymore. You know what works? Walk to the streets of the people and tell them, you're hustling. I'm hustling too. Me and you together, we are hustlers. Yeah? What can we do now? How can 2022 naona aje? Mimi naona wheelbarrow. Wewe unaona wheelbarrow hizi nisaidia nini? You understand? The conversation, it has shifted. Don't tell me about Kalonzo Musyoka and sijui who going to meet sijui where in Bomas and whatever. Let me tell you something. Us guys are not even meeting anymore anywhere physically. We are wearing masks and we are social distancing. We are on the interwebs. Our revolution is online. You understand? So by the time I reach the ground in Bobasi constituency, they have already heard about me somewhere in the interwebs. Umesikia ule mama anatafuta kura Bobasi. Umesikia ameona tuliona alifanya. Umeona hii picha, umeona hizi nguo amevaa. You understand? So I mean, listen, we respect history. We respect veteran politicians. We respect the people who fought for independence. We even respect these dynasty names of Oginga and Kenyatta and whoever. But what we also respect is that we are in 2021, we are 75% of the registered voters of this country. When I say we, I am talking about the youth. That's the reason why when they say now, we are just going to push for degrees so that they can remove a whole 75% out of the table, we wake up from our Kenyans on Twitter and we go and we set out petitions to fight it. So it is a new dawn. Forget about tribal politics.
Right.
Forget about easy maneno. History tunaambiwa huku. Forget about all that stuff. Learn from it, enrich yourself in history, but be aware and be awake to the fact that people want to be empowered economically.
Right.
And that is the Hustler Nation movement.
Right. So
Yes.
you submit that the electorate is not being conned,
No,
and that's
no,
an
no,
old
no,
school
no,
narrative.
no.
Kyoko, you have the last word. I mean,
No,
on
first,
the same.
I thought we would appreciate the eloquent speech. This, if you remove the hustler conversation, it was a very nice indictment about the young people and youth in politics. And I think that's very nice. I really, that's where the young people must go.
Kyoko is bought in.
Yeah. But not on the hustler narrative. No, not on the UDA thing.
It's okay.
No.
Baby steps.
That's
this
a
is
very,
like our first date.
Let's close this.
But that's very nice, and the young people need to appreciate that they have an opportunity to set the tone for the election. They have an opportunity to set the agenda for the election. They have an opportunity to reorganize the political dynamics of the day. It's their call. However, reality is different. And those who refuse to listen to history suffer from mistakes in the future. So do not ignore history and do not treat it with contempt. But again, what is the relationship between the politician, the electorate, who is who? Now, the politician, an ordinary politician, by and large, will not lead from the front. He will lead from the back. But there is a leader. There is a leader who will go to his people and say, I know you people want to go this particular direction, but this is what is the best direction. B is better than direction A, and takes time and educates its people on how he wants them to behave, on how that is a leader. Majority of people we have in parliament today are politicians. They are not leaders. There are few exceptions that you can find leaders in parliament who are willing to go the extra mile to carry their people forth. Mwai Kibaki, and she says we shouldn't quote history alone, Mwai Kibaki introduced to the people of Nyeri politics of zero money, no handouts. Remember when Kibaki became president, a delegation came from Nyeri and they thought they will get handouts. Kibaki told them, no, hii si yangu. Yeah, I won't do this, but go to the banks and you'll get loans. And he stopped borrowing money from the economy. Loans were cheaper. People succeeded. He's a leader. The politicians are what we'll say today. They will wake up and sing the song that Wheelbarrow is making sense, or they'll sing the song that Kieleweke is making sense, or in Central. And then the next day they go to the ground. They listen to people. Instead of them convincing them of why they thought that their position was better, and investing time, resources, energy to convince, because people want to listen, they easily opt for the easier option of defecting. Crossing over. So that is a politician, by and large. A leader is the one who will stick out his neck and say, I will die, I will lose, but I will remain with my conviction. Whether I win or not is a different story. Kyoko, I will stay with that.
They still need to survive.
No.
They still need to survive.
That when you throw in the survival game,
yes.
let me tell you, and that is where we lower the bar in these conversations that we have. When people say, I have family, then you've discarded the interest of the electorate, or you've discarded the interest of your principal in order to survive, to fulfill your stomach. That's a different thing. And the call for leadership is so high. The call for leadership is so high, and it is so different from the call to be a politician. Today, if you want to be a politician, or you are aspiring to be a politician, even that which looks white, you will say it looks gray. Even that which looks black, you will say it has a shade of. You will find everything that suits your interpretation, provided it moves you forward.
Right.
Now, that in itself is what makes people, you find the ordinary electorate feeling disenfranchised, feeling cheated. That is why when you go to campaign, you find the electorate waiting for you and saying, umetuacha hivyo. You didn't give us something. Because they want to extract their flesh of pound now, their pound of flesh now, because they know the moment you get into parliament, this long story you are telling us, bottom up, down, wheelbarrow, what, when you get in, you will not achieve it. But because you're here, give me your 200, I survive on it. After, if you do what you do, I will re-elect for you free. Right. But this first one, give me something. Right. Because they know you are a politician, you are not a leader.
Right. Good.
Can I say amen?
No, I think it's done. I think we will end the conversation here, but it hasn't.
I haven't said a word on that.
Oh, you want to come back again? We
no,
thought that the other
I
one
did
was...
not answer to the question.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's just give us as we go.
Just simple.
Yes.
Politicians are a representation of the electorate. If you elect a thief, do not expect to get sadaka from that thief. In fact, he'll do very well stealing from you. And I think the majority of the politicians are in that quarter of stealing from the electorates. To that extent, there is no way how the electorates will be the ones deceiving the politicians. It is only one way, politicians deceiving the electorates. Unfortunately, let me make it very clear. When politicians goes out there and buy the nomination certificate, they will steal from you because their master is not the electorate, their master is the party that gave them the ticket and took them to parliament. When politicians comes and give you 200 upfront for you to vote for them, I can guarantee you that he's already paid you for 5 years. You just need to calculate how much is 2,000 in 200 in 5 years, and you'll have gotten your reward. If IBC cannot stand on their feet and saying no voter bribery, and if you're found bribing anybody, you will go to jail and you will not be allowed to run for any position. We will still have politicians who will not be in the interests of the electorate, but the interests of their goddess and small gods out here who gives them the certificate. Unfortunately, that is the situation. But I want to conclude with my sister's statement because I listened to her a little bit keenly so that I can find some silly mistakes. And one of them was very clear, that the people in Kisumu were begging to talk to the deputy president. Oh, that's what she said. She thought I forgot. Begging. I want to say this. To say begging. I want to say this. What you don't know is Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
Let's listen. Yeah.
What you don't know is Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was in that very podium in about 2 days before the president came. And there were also two presidents there, the president of Kenya and the president of Burundi. The deputy president president was even not supposed to be in Kisumu from the information I got, but he went anyway because that was a function that he wanted to go to, and he went anyway, and I can tell you much about it. But what I have to say is Luos are like Kikuyus. They are guided, and when their leader says this way, they will go that way. That I tell you for free. When you tell those guys in Kondele, we don't want this guy, because he's your enemy, let him go there tomorrow and you'll see. No one has told them as such. And no one has told the people in Central that this is the direction we're getting to. And I think that is why you're seeing all the political parties being formed. Because when there was order, it was one direction that everybody was following. The same order is still in Luo land, and it's going to happen.
I know we might continue this conversation.
Although the images speak for themselves. I'm not, the images and the videos speak for themselves.
Begging.
Thank you, lady and gentlemen, asanteni sana. And of course, to all those who've been tweeting, I have Valusha T. Balala, who says, Ruto, the very one accused of several counts of corruption to fight corruption? That's laughable, unless it's on a set of thief to catch a thief theory. That's what she says. Another one, Corridor of Power, says the conversation now has shifted from the old school to the new school, where the internet is taking over. And I have Odero Owino, who says, I agree with him a million times. That bribe is always a form of loan paid exorbitantly and without mercy through looting and deals that end up making the government broke, thus overburdening the citizens with all forms of taxes. Very soon you'll hear them introducing Rudisha tax. That's what they say. Very interesting comments, very interesting feedback. I know they've been coming in. Let's keep them coming. The conversation might end here in these 4 walls or so, but they can continue on our social media platforms. The hashtag is #TheBottomLineKE. Let's keep talking. We'll see you again, same time, same place, right here on Look Up TV. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Goodbye for now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we need...
You're watching